to early October. For those of you that was, getting your reservations, making arrangements to go in there to Vegas in July. More than likely, it's going to be pushed to October, early October. We don't have an exact date, but it gives more time for the fight to even mature a lot more. And when I mean by mature, I'm talking about the changes. Whoever needs to make changes, Deontay Wilder has enough time to go in there and make changes now if he needs to go back and try to win his belt back. And also Tyson Fury, he has his situations that's going on, and to give him a little bit more time to get himself together. But I'll be honest, people, I'm kind of skeptical about Tyson Fury having all this time off. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of skeptical about, him having several months off to come back to the ring and something in between happens that may derail the fight or whatever the case may be. Anything is possible with boxing, but we really want to see this trilogy, and I'm pretty sure we will. Both fighters have a little bit more time to think about this, and that's where it's going to lie, until this COVID-19 crisis lifts and some of the regional bans are lifted also to provide us our natural way of living. Then it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough, not seeing combat sports on TV and watching old clips of O.J. Simpson, watching cartoons, old basketball, football reruns. Them talking about Tom Brady going over, leaving the Patriots and going signing with another team, all that nonsense, man. But real talk, the main topic, not to mention the Olympians, man. I know they hate life, man. A lot of these cats, want to go over here and compete. But from what I'm hearing, some of the Olympians, like Keyshawn Davis is thinking about turning pro. And you know what it is when it comes to Olympians vice turning pro and start making that money. It's a situation that's tough right now. You know what I'm saying? Tough in a sense that they don't have no way of knowing when it's going to happen. And then now that the Olympics is going to be pushed back due to the global crisis, it's going to affect a lot of fighters that really probably can't stick around to that. You know what I'm saying? They probably had plans already to do what they got to do. It's bad all the way around. But the main topic, let's get right to it. Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford basically said, you know what? I'm sick and tired of waiting. I'm kind of over it. Or whatever that's going on behind the scenes with him and Errol Spence. He's basically saying, hey, guess what? I'm kind of over this fight now. What do y'all think about that? Terrence Crawford keeping it a buck. He keeping it 100. You know what I'm saying? He said, I'm kind of over this. It's so much to this fight. Now that Errol Spence was scheduled to fight in April, just like I said earlier, on the previous live, I said, man, this fight may not happen to near the end of the year. Now, with Errol Spence comeback fight potentially being delayed, it's only going to push the fight, if it was ever going to happen, between him and Terrence Crawford to 2021. We don't know if it's going to be early 2021 or in the mid part of 2021. But regardless of what anybody think, the check in the box is we wanted to see the fight. We wanted to see these two fight. Now, why Terrence Crawford is a bit agitated or lacks the patience right now, it could be many things, people. I can't tell you what it is, but if I was in his shoes, it would be a little bit of frustration, but there's other fighters out here for him to fight. You know what I'm saying? And that fighter being Manny Pacquiao, for one. Manny Pacquiao is out there for him to fight. He got Sean Porter. I know they're friends and everything, but when it comes down to boxing and giving the fans what they want and making a pretty decent paycheck, then, Sean Porter's out there too. That'd be a real decent fight for Terrence Crawford. But everything is left in limbo right now due to the COVID-19 situation. So a lot of these fights and the fighters, They may be feeling some type of way, man. You know, not anything personal or whatever, but they may be feeling some type of way because they have a timeline. You know what I'm saying? These fighters are getting old. Time ain't gonna, you know, it's not gonna stop. Manny Pacquiao, Manny Pacquiao is still getting old, y'all. As we speak. Gennady Golovkin is still getting old as we speak. You know what I'm saying? Myself is getting old as we speak. So when it comes to boxing and seeing these fighters, man, that have timelines to step into the ring with specific opponents, there's going to be pretty lucrative paydays for them. Now that this crisis and everything else, it just pushes everything further down the shoreline of boxing. And we don't have a clue when we're going to see them fight again. We don't have any idea when we're going to see them fight. You know, Terrence Crawford's 36-0 right now, 27 knockouts, 3-division champion. You know what I'm saying? And then Errol Spencer's 26-0, 21 knockouts. The fight itself will be one of the biggest fights. Welterweight division, you know what I'm saying? Welterweight, of course. I don't think it's going to do Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder numbers. I'm just being honest. I just don't see it happening, because if you look at Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, they both can promote themselves. You know what I'm saying? They both can promote themselves. But when it comes to Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, you know, we've seen Errol Spence talk some trash. You know, we've seen it talk some trash to Sean Porter. We got it, but it's not the Tony Harrison, Jermell Charlo trash talk. You know what I'm saying? That type of trash talk was classic. Like those two press conferences that Tony Harrison and Jermell Charlo had, thanks to Tony Harrison, you can turn back the page and say, man, I want to look at this again. The shit he was saying is like what was missing for boxing when it comes to building up a fight. The shit Tony Harrison, the level he was on, the bravado that he presented, the energy he had, all of that was good for boxing, y'all. All of it. But when it comes to Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, I know it'll be some trash talking. Bud can talk trash, but he don't talk trash too much. He just go in there and you know, handling it in the ring. Errol Spence the same way. He can talk some trash, but it's not as fluent as you would like to build up a fight. It's not fluent enough like Tony Harrison, Jermell Charlo. It's not fluent like Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? It's not that eye catcher where you're saying, man, I got to make sure I catch this presser. We got to make sure we catch this weigh in. It's just not the case. But taking nothing away from Bud Crawford, what I respect about Bud Crawford is I cannot knock Bud Crawford for his demeanor in boxing. I say this all the time. Fighters, they have their own way, man. You know, from where they came from and where they at right now, of course they're going to have some attitudes. You know what I'm saying? Fighters are that way. They going in there, they squaring up, they're putting in the work and training, and they go in there hoping to win and keep their resume, you know, building up on a respectable level, right? So Terrence Crawford not being that much of a voice, a promoter, a self-promoter in itself, he still is one of the best fighters, you know what I'm saying, in the sport. 3-division champion, he's going to be a future Hall of Famer, period. Period, hands down. Errol Spence, you know, with him coming off the accident and the videos he's been putting out, I'm not sure what we're going to get from Errol Spence right now, to be honest. I just don't see what we're going to get. I'm curious. I hope everything is okay, but he doesn't sound the same. I know he just put out a video saying he was thrown out a car, the pavement, lost some teeth, etc. But as fight fans, we just want to know how his mechanics is going to apply on his return back to the ring. That's all. I wish Errol Spence nothing but the best, man, you know, or whatever. But he doesn't sound the same. I don't know if he has other underlying issues, you know, dealing with You know, whatever happened, him landing on his head, him having, you know, I don't know, confidentiality, gag orders, whatever on his real condition, on the injuries he suffered from that night. But he doesn't seem like the same person. I mean, you can put out videos all you want. It's all good, but he doesn't look the same to me. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't sound the same. As a person who's been in a high-speed motorcycle accident before and did a whole lot of other extreme things, I'm telling you, like, if you are in those particular situations, especially like Errol Spence landing on the pavement the way he did, it's a high possibility you may not be the same person for a long time. I'm not saying that's permanent, whatever is going on with him, but you may not be the same person for a long time. It's called recovery. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, man, I hope nothing but the best. But Terrence Crawford is like, you know what? I'm over it, man. It's time to move on and try to potentially pick up another belt if that's his goal. You know what I'm saying? Just go out here and try to fight Manny Pacquiao, man. That's all I can say. Manny Pacquiao is out there. He has a legitimate belt. And what better person to go up here and try to get that fight than Terrence Crawford? Now, I know it's going to be difficult. I know Manny Pacquiao is trying to hold on to that belt for the longest of time. But come on, Manny. Man, you did everything in boxing. You're not getting any younger. You know, Terrence Crawford don't want to step in the ring with Manny Pacquiao if he, you know, pins another year to his lifespan. He don't want to face the man when he's 42 years old and then he go in there and beat him. And people will be like, hey, Terrence, yeah, it was a good win, but old boy was old as shit, man. Like, you was in there with an elderly. Goddamn, Manny Pacquiao was at the front door of AARP. You know what I'm saying? He was damn near there. He was up at the office filling out his Medicaid. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to give the man credit for it if Manny Pacquiao continue to put on another year to his age. And, you know, it's just not going to be something that Terrence Crawford would appreciate. But, hey, I'm like this. I say forget everything else. Fight him regardless. He has that freaking nugget over there, that WBA belt. Go scoop that up. It's no way that somebody's going to tell me convincingly that, oh, we're talking about Manny Pacquiao, A-division champion. He'll go over there and defeat Bud Crawford. It ain't happening, people. Manny Pacquiao is not defeating Bud Crawford, man. Bud Crawford is not Keith Thurman. Let's get that clear. The actions and the behavior of Keith Thurman leading up to his fight is questionable. Some of those actions and his team not being around to make sure he was properly preparing, you know, on the lead up on fight week, kind of tells me that he might have just damn cashed out on that belt so he can have more time off. I don't know. But what I can tell you this is, you know, if he was in a casino leading up to the fight, man, that's a no-no. Like, he wasn't taking it serious. He was up there eating dairy products before a fight. No. So I'm going to tell you like this, you know, Manny Pacquiao stepping up with Terrence Crawford. There's no way that anyone going to convince me that Manny wins that fight. It's not going to freaking happen. So, but on the back end of it, it'll be good for him to pick up that title. And then if him and Errol Spence somewhat fight in 2021, it'll be equal leverage. You know what I'm saying? It'll be equal leverage between these two, because that's what it's all about. They always want to talk about money when it comes to Crawford and Spence Jr. You know what I'm saying? Money, money, money. So if both have two belts, regardless if Spence has the WBC and Crawford has the WBA, those are the two high-ranking belts in the chain. You feel me? So you know what? Why can't the fight be a 50-50 fight? Why can't the fight be a 50-50 fight? You know, Terrence Crawford has more experience. Errol Spence has more experience at welterweight. You know, came in a junior middle, man, his fourth fight turned welterweight. So he's been in one division and was finally able to pick up a title from Kell Brook. And then he picked up his second title for Sean Porter. But if you're looking at the body of work and the divisions, of course, Terrence Crawford has the better boxing career right now. Terrence Crawford's first fight over to welterweight was against Jeff Horn and scooped up the WBO, and he stopped him. You have to give a man freaking credit, y'all. You have to give Crawford credit. Seriously. Y'all can't keep on talking about, you know, what belts was vacant, you know, who he fought and all this other nonsense. Boxing is boxing. If you're not diving into the grassroots to see what's going on at the ground level, a lot of this, when these boxers do grow into who they are, you're not going to understand. You're just going to say, oh, he fought a bum here, a bum there, a bum here, a bum there. Nah, man, you really got to do a little bit more research than that. So let's just keep our fingers crossed, hands together, you know what I'm saying, positive thoughts, that this fight will take place sometime at the end of this year of 2021. Now, that's a reach, you know, for 2020, but hopefully we're able to see something. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully we're able to see something. But some other heavy hitters that's out there that I wouldn't mind seeing Terrence Crawford fight, or Errol Spence. One big name in particular, outside of Keith Thurman, right? It'll be Sergey Lipinets, period. I know your Denis Ugas is out there, I know, but I like Sergey Lipinets, man. His tenaciousness, man, his boxing. He's a tank, you know what I'm saying? Like, he comes forward and he's there to fight. I don't know why a lot of people are not looking out and calling his name to step up, but man, we're talking about a former champion, bro. Like, give Sergey Lipinets his just due. Real talk. But all we can do is, man, hope that this boxing situation, this combat sports situation, lifts sometime soon. That's all we can hope for, people. I'm not gonna get into you know, what I'm hearing about the background of Errol Spence and everything else on what happened that night. You know, if he lost control, or, you know, it was some other things that was going on with some people that was in pursuit. But I don't get into that. I just want to see the fight. There's a lot of people that's supposed to be mentors and around this guy to keep him on the straight. Where are they, man? That's all I'm saying. Where are you? Now, for Danny Garcia, I know his name has popped up for Terrence Crawford. You know, it's just a lot that I look at Danny Garcia and I'm like, you know, some of the big fights he's been in, especially with Sean Porter and Keith Thurman, it's still a worthy opponent, man. I got respect for Danny Garcia, but I just want to see somebody fresh jump in the fray right quick. You know, I want to see, you know, the Virgil Ortiz, Sergey Lipinets. You know, Maurice Hooker is climbing the ranks pretty fast. You know how the ranks goes in boxing. You know, Maurice Hooker, he hadn't even been in the welterweight division that long. And in the WBO, as I'm looking at, man, he's ranked number 4 behind Mikey Garcia. So we all know what's about to pop off with Maurice Hooker and Regis Prograis. I'll let that fight marinate. I already gave you my predictions. I really think Maurice Hooker has enough to defeat Regis Prograis. That's just my opinion. If Regis want to come on here and I'll talk about it, absolutely. You know, it's all good. We can talk. But Keith Thurman, I can't mention him. And you know what? Mikey Garcia is still lingering at the top ranking hierarchy. He's hanging around, man. He's within the top 10. You know, he's within the top 10 of the WBC, WBA, and the WBO. He's not ranked in the IBF. I mean, in the top 10. So expect Mikey Garcia, you know, who's ranked number 4 in the WBC, number 3 WBA, and number 3 in the WBO. So definitely he's going to be stepping up. He's just coming off that win over Jesse Vargas, which he was like, yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying? All right. But man, we want to see some of these other dudes like Virgil Ortiz, bro. You know, Virgil Ortiz. He's a legitimate competitor now. Don't count out Virgil Ortiz now. I want to see some of these guys, man. He's ranked pretty high to face Terrence Crawford. But Terrence Crawford had to make a decision whether, you know, Garcia is going to be next, Ortiz, somebody that we want to see. Mikey Garcia against Terrence Crawford. It'll be competitive. I think Mikey Garcia may have a little bit more success trying to get on the inside with Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Than he did with Errol Spence. Because when he fought a taller Robert Easter, I know Robert Easter isn't Terrence Crawford, but Mikey Garcia, he's been shown to take a punch, right? He's shown he has a beard, you know, and his cardio is pretty decent. When I say decent, like, you know, Mikey Garcia may look drained in some of his previous weight classes, but he still showed up to fight. So it's even going to be this much better. Now he had the opportunity to have 2 fights at welterweight. I think him and Terrence Crawford would be a pretty good fight, though. Seriously. But I still think that Terrence Crawford will outbox Mikey Garcia with the range, being able to switch hit, and you know, just being a fundamentally superb boxer. You know, like Mikey Garcia can box, but Terrence Crawford, when it comes to his technical skills, man, I have to put him a grade above Mikey Garcia. That's just my opinion, of course. You know what I'm saying? But let's see what comes of this, people. And you know what? It's crazy. I really can't sit up here and say, okay, look forward to this date, look forward to that day. The boxing scene, man, is so screwed up right now. It's dangling from a tree branch, man, and that branch is broken. We don't know shit. Like, it's a breeze outside, a broken tree branch, and that shit's just blowing in the wind. We don't know when the news is gonna drop and say, hey, guess what? Boxing will resume. We're gonna come out with dang future scheduled fight cards. But word has it that boxing will resume. And for what I'm hearing right now, man, boxing, you know, due to the promotional status that they have to go through, right? Once the bans and everything are lifted, it might not, just like Coach said the other day, it may not come back around and get the wheels turning, man, until May. Could you imagine that, bro? Could you imagine boxing getting started in May, right? And that means the bans have to be lifted sometime in April. And then, you know, regional cards can start pumping off in April. But for the bigger cards, the larger scale, higher tier promotions, we may not see another fight until the end of May, early part of June, because the promotions have to get together, promote the fight, and get the people, you know, get the tickets out there, make sure the fighters are in fight camp to be able to make the weight, because you can't blame a fighter for coming in here missing weight when he has short notice and just so you can put on a card and try to catch up. I don't think that any promotion at that level is gonna be sloppy like that. You know what I'm saying? I think they're gonna really be professional about it, but also the fighters have to be professional too during this time and try to stay around their weight. You know what I'm saying? Knowing they're probably speaking to the promoters and managers and everybody else, and they're saying, hey, potentially let's hold out, let's keep focus for another 30 days. Just make sure you stay around your weight, don't get too far off the limit, and we should see if a fight is going to take place in May. You know what I'm saying? That's all we can do. I can't imagine what some of the fighters on the regional level that was expecting them paydays, what they're going through right now, man. But God bless you. Hopefully everything works out for y'all. It's a grind, bro. The trenches are flooded right now. That muddy water, for real. The trenches, got that muddy water in it. The current is fast and furious. Believe that. This COVID-19, man, it's changing lives, man. It's changing businesses. You know what I'm saying? It's causing people who had a pretty decent job to be let go of their job because of a virus. But yet when the virus, all these orders are lifted, they don't automatically return to their job. They're let go, period, because of money issues. You know what I'm saying? Some of these companies, these high-end companies or whatever, these businesses, they're losing so much money right now to the point where they can't rehire the same staff they let go because they just don't have the money for it. Oh my gosh, bro. That's real talk, y'all. That's real talk. If you didn't hear already, it's been a while since I spoke really extensively on Tyson Fury's situation, but he relinquished his UK boxing license. So there's many reasons that can be placed into a box of assumptions as to why that's the case. But believe me, if you understand what it is and you thinking the way I'm thinking, believe that is the reason. You just don't go up here and say automatically, I'm gonna drop my UK license. You have to understand there's a legitimate reason for him to abort the mission and drop his UK license. It don't have anything to do with saying like the UK really didn't show me no love and all this other shit. He's trying to maneuver right now. Tyson Fury is maneuvering. You know what I'm saying? Those obstacles are on his back. He's feeling the energy. And he's making moves to try to avoid any type of, news headlines that's out right now to really land in his lap where he has the answer. Okay, now that this is on the surface, talk to us, man. What's going on? What's going on with 2015? What's going on with Martin Carefoot? What's going on with all that? Talk to us there, Tyson. You good for telling stories. Tell us this story. If the guy didn't have a history of wild boar, uncastrated, why did he submit a letter? And of course, when you make a deal with the devil, sometimes you burn in hell at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they're trying to portray Mr. Carefoot as. They're trying to portray Mr. Carefoot as being a liar, a person with no integrity, And of course they're going to say that because if you make a deal where it includes you being in compliance with something that's going against the the criminal adjudication or whatever you want to call it, and it's potentially both everyone that's included may face consequences up the line, then you're going to be as an accessory, you're going to be as an accomplice, and you're going to be part of it. So if you went up there and signed that you gave them wild boar uncastrated just because the lie for him for popping dirty with pads, you got to go up there and refurbish your character. You know what I'm saying, there, Mr. Carefoot? But we appreciate you coming out, though. Real talk. We appreciate you coming out. We truly appreciate you. For whatever reason you coming out this late in the game. If they didn't pay your money or whatever, the 25,000 pounds, and you pissed off and you say, hey, man, I need my bag. Enough is enough. Man, kudos to you, bro. I hope you really get your voice heard out there. And a lot of this is rectified. I'm just going to go through some articles right now, right quick. This is a nice food for thought for the hardcore boxing fans. Jermell Charlo versus Erislandy Lara is in play, says the WBC press. The president of the WBC is Mauricio Suleiman. They say, according to the WBC Council, the World Boxing Council President Mauricio Suleiman, WBC junior middleweight champion Jermell Charlo submitted a request to make a voluntary defense against WBA regular junior middleweight champion Erislandy Lara. The WBA super champion 154 is Jason Rosario, who recently upset Julian Williams to capture the title. For the hardcore boxing fans mainstream, they know this. Charlo and Lara are former training and sparring partners. When the two boxers train side by side under the tutelage of veteran trainer Ronnie Shields, Charlo would eventually leave Shields and hook up with Derrick James. And that's the stable of Derrick James with Errol Spence. When or where the fight will take place, we don't know yet. The pandemic has canceled all events in March and April. Lara's 26-3-3, 15 knockouts. You remember the fight he had with Jarrett Hurd? Very tough. He demonstrated he was a true warrior, man. That's what Erislandy Lara demonstrated. He took a lot of punishment, but he fought to the very end, even after being dropped. But he still lost a close decision to Jarrett Hurd. Charlo 33-1, 17 knockouts, is riding high after recapturing his world title in December with a knockout over Tony Harrison in the 11th round of their rematch. Prior to that win, Charlo had a crushing third round knockout of Jorge Cota in June. As far as brother Jermall Charlo, who has the WBC middleweight title, the sanctioning body will allow him to make a voluntary defense of his choosing when boxing resumes again. But the main point of this article was to highlight Jermell Charlo versus Erislandy Lara on the future calendar. You know what I'm saying? On the future calendar. That's good news, y'all. That's very good news. Very good news. Former sparring partners, same team, coach, back in the day. It's all good, man. I mentioned earlier about the Olympics being postponed. That's gonna hurt a lot of them, young lions that was in the hunt to go to that stage, man. I feel you. Real talk. There's no need for me to mention the Canelo Alvarez and Triple G. The Canelo Alvarez and Billy Joe Sanders. I really hope that fight doesn't happen, to be honest. I would rather see Saul Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin, to be honest with you. Even though, I don't think at no point in time during the fight that we will see adversity faced by Canelo Alvarez. I just don't see it, y'all. Gennady Golovkin, Triple G, however you want to call him, Little G, he's old right now. And like I said, as long as we're on break, Triple G is continuing to age. So whenever they might fight, right? If it holds true to the date, I think he may be 38, right? He may be 38, right? Because he's 37 right now. Let me look up the old middleweight fighter Gennady Golovkin, because you know he still has a lot of fans out there that was boosting him up. So right now, Gennady Golovkin is age 37. And when you know it, people, he turns 38 next month. I know it was somewhere close. I knew it was somewhere close. The man will be 38 years old next month in April. His birthday is April 8th. So he'll be 38 years old. What does that tell you? Real talk. What does that tell you about Gennady Golovkin? It tells you he's going to be in some type of dire straits, man, when he meets a guy who's moved up to super middle and light heavy. Seriously. Canelo is only 29 years old, man. And he doesn't turn 30 until July, July 18th. So he himself will be another year older. You know, he would be 30, but 8 years, you know what I'm saying? 8-year difference of a disparity between these two is a big difference. And also, you know what everybody praises about Gennady Golovkin is his amateur pedigree. And I always say to them, I say, guess what? You can praise his amateur pedigree, but right now we're seeing the tread come off. We're seeing the tread come off with Gennady Golovkin for all those amateur fights. It looks good on paper, you know, to talk about. Look at him and all this, just like his compeer, his luminary, Vasily Lomachenko. All these guys have an extensive amount of amateur pedigree, but when it comes down to it, right when we expect them to be, you know, hitting another booster, skyrocketing to another level, they're looking worn down. They're taking punishment. And they're only in their mid 30s. You know what I'm saying? I know Vasily Lomachenko is just a little bit younger. I think he's like, what, 31, 32? But he has tread on him. He has tread on him, man, from an extensive amateur career. So Gennady Golovkin stepping in there with a 30-year-old Canelo Alvarez. I still see Canelo defeating him. I put money on it any day of the week. Anybody who's saying that, well, Gennady's going to come in here after the way he looked against Sergey Derevyanchenko, and it has to do with the competition he was in there with. No, Sergey Derevyanchenko was a legitimate fighter. Like, he went in there and gave it somewhat similar problems to Daniel Jacobs. And then he gets in there with Gennady Golovkin, and they robbed the man, only to set up a fight, a trilogy with Saul Canelo Alvarez. Absolutely, man, they robbed that man. They robbed Derevyanchenko. Boxing reared his ugly face that day. So now we're talking about Gennady having the IBF and the IBO title, and we'll see what happens. You better hope he doesn't go in there and get stopped. You know what I'm saying? We better hope that Gennady Golovkin doesn't turn 49 in front of our eyes while he's in the ring. That's all I'm saying. Because fighters have been known to age in front of your eyes on a night where some people are expecting them to shine. So, you know, just put that in perspective. I have Canelo Alvarez winning that fight. Nobody want to see a fourth fight between these two. No way, no how. We just don't want to see it, y'all. If you didn't hear, the WBC, I believe, is suspending VADA testing for at least about 2 or 3 weeks. I'm not saying nothing, but they suspended drug testing. You know what I'm saying? So for whoever that falls within that realm, hey, kudos, salute. Do what you got to do. Dillian White, he just recently spoke with Boxing Scene. I'm on Boxing Scene right now. And he made a statement saying, I believe I can beat them all, just got to be in shape. I really believe that it's more than just being in shape with Dillian White. It's his entire mindset on how he approaches a fight, period. Like, I can't say he's not a smart fighter because he only has one loss, but I do feel that his game plan, when he steps into the square against a notable opponent, he abandons it too quick without being patient. Like, he intends to get sloppy, get tired. And isn't all that something you're supposed to be taking care of in the gym? Isn't that all that you've been trying to prove to us, that you wanted to face Deontay Wilder? So, you've been trying your hardest to be the WBC mandatory. Isn't this the fight you've been fighting? I mean, this is the fight, Dillian. So you going in there saying that you got to be in shape, and you think if you're in shape, you can beat them all. Well, it also has to do with your decision-making process too. When you split the ropes and how you go about delegating your boxing authority, man, to pick up the win. You just can't go in there and say, I'm going to go for broke. If I get chinned, so be it. We've seen that with Joshua. You got chinned, and it's not a so be it. It's like they won't even let you back close enough so you can even smell the belts. Your name haven't even been anywhere in the proximity. Dillian Whyte's name haven't even been in the talking points when it comes to Anthony Joshua's belts. That goes to show you that the way you think as a fighter, your value as a fighter, is not up there, bro. You need to keep working on that, man. Put on better performances, man. That's all I can say, big dog. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know better, Dillian. You know better, man. Nevada Commission Council, March 25th. A hearing to discuss how long combat sports events will remain postponed has been canceled. The monthly agenda meetings have been held by the Nevada State Athletic Commission officially canceled. The session was due to take place March 25th at the headquarters in Las Vegas, with a significant portion of the meeting to have been determined how far out to suspend boxing and mixed martial arts. Once again, this is how far out to suspend boxing and mixed martial arts. Due to the crisis of COVID-19. That is no longer on the table, raising further doubt of boxing or any other feature large gatherings resuming its normal schedule anytime soon. So there you go, people. That was a pretty good nugget. Nevada State Athletic Commission, NSAC, is letting you know. Robert Helenius, the fighter that stepped in there and shocked Andy Konaki, I believe that's his name, Konaki. He said he's coming, and he said, I will beat Anthony Joshua. Heavyweight contender Robert Helenius is flying high after winning WBA eliminator with an unexpected knockout victory over undefeated top contender Adam Konaki. Helenius dropped Konaki twice before stopping him in the fourth round at the Barclays. We seen it. Those of you that tuned in that day, we seen it. It was a dominating performance. Kind of weird ring walk. Boxing has a lot of characters, but Helenius went in there and got the job done, man. And I liked his energy on how he performed in there against a fighter that was on the come up, undefeated. Come on, man. We thought he was gonna, he was gonna be, it was gonna be another fight for Konaki to win and stay on the title run. Stay on his run to a title shot. Helenius believes he is one win away from potentially getting in line for a world title crack at WBA, IBF, IBO, WBO heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua. Not the WBC though. So they show a picture with him. I guess he sparred Anthony Joshua back in the day. Who knows? I believe it did. Yeah, Heinous is very familiar with Joshua, as the two boxers have sparred with each other in the past. Figured that. The Viking Warrior was shocked when Joshua was dropped 4 times and stopped inside 7, with Andy Ruiz. In the rematch, which took place in December, with a dominant 12-round unanimous decision. I wouldn't say dominant. Come on now. But it's writers. I get it. You have to make the article seem some type of way. Helenius goes on to say, I think it would be a very interesting fight against Joshua. Helenius told Sky Sports, I would like that very much. It would be fireworks and tactics, of course, but I think it would be very, very interesting interesting fight for me. I was surprised that he got knocked down by Andy Ruiz. He made mistakes, but he did well in the second fight. Ruiz and me are very different fighters. That's true. We are the same height. Anthony and me, well, he's saying he's the same height as Anthony Joshua. I've been there in sparring camp with him. I have nothing personal against him. He's a very good guy. I think very highly of him, and I like him a lot. But I think I will beat him. These fighters are being nice to Anthony Joshua and hopefully get these title shots. You know what I'm saying? He goes on to say, I think it's because I've been training injury-free for a couple of years now. I had a lot of problems after my shoulder injury and my shoulder operation, dealing with a lot of problems with hand operations and stuff like that. I was sick. I had lung disease, and I think I'm bouncing back, Helenius said. I hope I will get the biggest fight. I don't really care who I'm fighting next, so I'm going to be ready for whoever comes my way. Hey, I will look forward to that fight. If Robert Helenius is able to get a fight with Anthony Joshua, I'll watch it. I'll watch it. Definitely. I will watch the fight. The people, that's just a couple of boxing talking points for tonight. I know everybody's getting ready to do whatever tomorrow. I'm not sure if you're working or whatever, but y'all stay tuned in to World Combat Sports, man. Don't be strangers. Follow me on all social media platforms, man. Hit the bell icon on YouTube to get notifications of when I go live on YouTube, and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on IG. Turn up and tune in, people, to World Combat Sports.